Conversions are becoming a very popular way for people to get in the self-storage business or people to grow their self-storage business. I recently wrote an article for Inside Self-Storage a few months ago about the reasons why I like conversions. You can find a link to that article in the comment section below. But there's also a few pitfalls to watch out for if you're doing a conversion. Let me share with you some of the pitfalls that we've run into as we've done our conversions. Hello, my name is Mark Helm, and I'm the author of Creating Wealth Through Self-Storage, and I'm the creator of the Self-Storage Quick Start Academy. And the Self-Storage Quick Start Academy is an online portal that has lots of training and support for the small investor who wants to get in the self-storage business or who wants to grow their self-storage business. You can find more information about it at quickstartacademy.com and creatingwealththroughselfstorage.com. But let's talk about conversions. Conversions are becoming very popular. I just want to take a moment and share with you four kind of pitfalls, four things that we've run into that I sure wish I'd known about before we started our first conversions. And when we say conversion, what we're talking about is taking an existing building, changing its use, and turning it into self-storage. So pitfall number one to watch out for are the floors, especially if you're going more than one story inside a large high ceiling building. If you're putting more than one story in a large warehouse type building where there aren't separate floors, you're going to have at least 6 inches of concrete for a floor, or the engineers at the fabrication companies that were going to produce the storage system are not going to sign off on the floor load. Even if you're doing a single story, make sure you know the thickness of the concrete so that the engineers can calculate the floor load. But I've seen in a number of cases where people will get a building under contract and it's not 6 inches, it's 4 inches, or it's 4 inches here and 6 inches here and 2 inches here. Make sure you know the thickness of the concrete. One time we got a project under contract. As we did our due diligence, we found out it was only 4 inches thick. The engineers at the fabrication company wouldn't sign off on it. They told me, you can probably do it, nothing will happen, but we're not going to do it and not have an engineer sign off on it. Fortunately, we figured a fix for that problem. We laid the plan out and we saw exactly every 10 feet where the support beams were going to be. We literally priced out digging the concrete, not digging the whole floor out, but in 100-foot lines, dig the concrete out there and then put 6 inches in those lines where all the support beams were. What it did was, it was a $37,000 number. We ended up paying half of it and getting the seller to pay half of it. But I wish I'd known about that prior to writing the offer. So know your floor load capacity and your concrete floor thickness. Pitfall number two, and I see this a lot, is especially in conversions, you get some very weird unit mixes. Our process is we let the fabricators lay out a preliminary unit layout. And we would question very often, this is a 2x6 unit here with a small passenger door, what's going on? And they would tell us, especially when we were going vertical, that you've got a lot of 10x10s, 10x5s, 10x20s, 10x25s in the middle, because every 10 feet you got support columns. But on the edges, you would have some very odd sized shapes that would contour with the building. They would tell me it's unavoidable. And to some degree, that's right. But we learned that what you can do is you can get in there, you and an architect or you and someone else can get in there and redesign those units and not end up with so many weird, odd-shaped, odd-sized units. Every conversion, it seems like I've seen that. Don't do that. What will happen is the storage fabricators are trying to get every single square foot into production they can get. They get to make more metal. We like it in theory because the smaller units are generating more income per square foot than the larger. So very often we get hypnotized by the high per square foot income that this unit mix can generate because of the number of small units. The only problem is the market probably isn't going to accept some really weird, odd shaped, and a lot of small units. So you're going to end up adjusting it anyway. Just do it from the start. Start with a unit mix that's more market friendly, and don't just settle for some of the initial unit mix layouts you get. Pitfall number 3, I've seen this over and over again. Have a large contingency line item. I don't care what you think or what you know about a building or what you've been told about a building. I promise you stuff is going to come up like that 4-inch floor. When we're doing conversions, we have a higher contingency in the construction budget number because something's going to come up. One time we ended up, as we were getting approvals, the regulatory agencies decided that we actually needed a firewall that initially hadn't been told to us to separate the office area from the warehouse area. That wall was a $100,000 surprise for us. So on a $1.3 million project, $100,000 surprise is a significant surprise. So have a large contingency. I've seen over and over again people going over budget and scrambling for money, and at the end of the project to pay vendors because they didn't have enough contingency in their budget. We use a 20% contingency as we're doing conversions. And pitfall number 4, in your initial design and layout, prepare yourself for the bad truck drivers that you're going to get. I never cease to be amazed at the creative and destructive ways that people driving U-Hauls and box trucks can tear a building up. It's just shocking for me. We make sure that there is, in our conversions, we have where people don't, as much as possible, don't have to back a truck up. We have one way in, and you can drive straight out and unload outside. If you do feel like backing a truck up, we make sure that we have plenty of bollards and protection in our building. If there is a way for someone to hit your building, they will do it. I've seen so many creative ways of tearing a building up with a truck that never even crossed my mind. I remember in our first conversion, we were thinking, what would make, we have a fictional customer who is a woman in her late 50s, and what would make her feel safe if she comes to our facility at 9 at night? And we thought, well, what would make her feel safe is double key code entry into the building. That's great, we did that. You know, a gate system that opens and closes, great, we did that. But we also thought that having an arm immediately go down while the gate's closing would make this customer feel safer, that no one was going to tailgate in behind her. So we put that arm in. After replacing it for the 5th time from somebody driving a truck through it, we abandoned the arm. We no longer have that arm. I'm telling you, whatever ways you think your building, you need to protect your building, double it. You're going to spend a lot of money and create a nice product, protect it. So those are some of the pitfalls that we've run into as we've done our conversions that we had to scramble and solve and I hope you address them up front. So thank you very much. My name is Mark Helm. I'm the author of Creating Wealth Through Self-Storage, and I'm the creator of the Self-Storage Quick Start Academy. That's the financial analysis tool that we use to analyze projects. It helps us determine what we can pay for them and project our cash flows, and I can run a number of scenarios, and we decide which is the best way to approach the negotiations and then approach putting it into service. So thank you very much. I look forward to being with you next time, and I will see you then.